viewers, and welcome to another episode of the ENOCH generation, a generation that walks with God. So we have with us in our studios today Pastor Nirmal Kumar, who shared his life experiences in the past episodes. He will continue from where he left off. Yes, Pastor, so you can continue with your experiences, your walk with the Lord. I think you told us up to the point where you moved on to Chennai and you started working here, and how you humbled yourself in front of the Lord and God put you back into your destiny. Yeah, you could take off from there.
Exactly. So I'll just continue and share how the Lord actually brought me back to track. So in the previous episodes, I have shared how I was committed for ministry by my mother, and how they groomed me towards that calling, and how I lost track. So this is where I come back to track once again. So after the instance of the evening prayer, which actually helped me get out of this addiction, that's when slowly the walk with the Lord started to improve, and then the desire to serve the Lord again started to come in favor. So I was still working, but whatever I was able to do with the church group, I was able to do, and then after it just life went on like that, and then suddenly there was this calling from the CSA diocese for ministerial candidates to apply. So basically, the desire was nurtured inside of you. Then I decided I will want to try. So I spoke to the pastor, and then he said, "Yeah, you just involve in all kind of church works for this year, and then we'll slowly push you into that." And that pastor got transferred, and the next pastor came in. I was active with the thing, and then I was also working as well. And so the new pastor came, and then it is at that point in time I wanted to apply for the ministry candidate once again. That is, applying to be a ministry candidate is that, if you get selected, you can become a reverend in the CSC church. Okay. So they will send you to for theological education.
Your perception of ministry was becoming a pastor.
Exactly, but we never knew anything else. Exactly, we never knew anything else at all. So there it was the desire again started again to serve the Lord. The only form that you knew was, even in your fancy dress, you were like that only. So we took the pastor's permission, we did everything to apply. And then, there were some levels of interview, and then finally it came to a point where I was not even eligible for that role, because in Chennai diocese they have this rule, if you're applying to be a ministry candidate, you have to have been in this diocese for the last at least 10 to 15 years. Part of the Chennai diocese.
You were always in different places.
Exactly. So father was transferred, though we had all documents, and every document, every place that we were, we had the documents, we had the certificate from all our pastors, previous pastors, all that we had, but still finally the selection committee said that I was not eligible at all. So I'm the kind of person where I don't express mostly emotions. I was very plain, neither too happy nor too dull. Just came back, and then I came to meet our pastor, and then I went and I shared to him. The one line that he shared that evening was very significant. Again, some of the milestones of your life, you are able to recollect that evening. And I sat down, I remember his office table, I'm sitting down, I'm sharing this. He just gave me this one line. He says, "Nirmal, remember, God will shut all the wrong doors for you to enter into your right door."
I think he was perfectly right.
Exactly. So he said, "Just don't worry, you will have your right door." That was spot on. That was all the encouragement that you needed. And then I just left it like that, and then did not bother about those things anymore. But the pastor, Reverend Brahmal Samuel Kumar, started to groom me in ministry. So I was given so I quit my job now. So they took me as a coordinator for mission initiatives of the church. So I was like a middleman between the pastors and the missionaries. So I traveled a lot to many mission fields, and then so the ministry journey kind of took off slowly. The passion to do the Lord's work, and I should say this point was a very, very important phase of grooming me for ministry. because God gave me exposure about everything. I mean, whatever ministry in the mainline churches that we do, all kind of ministries, God gave me exposure. Already I told you I was very active in the youth, I was very active in the Sunday school. But now it was a different game. You get to know completely about missionary work. And I was so involved in the church and its activities, I got to know everything about
So you went to the mission fields and you saw what was happening? Or?
Exactly. I went, so I will go visit a missionary and then take reports from them. I also used to write mission reports. I used to go for mission works with them, with them as well. And I go to their pastors and then speak about mission initiatives. A lot of things we did that way.
So it was like a total training ground.
Exactly. Well, total training ground. In many ways, God groomed me there. Interestingly saying, there was a time that we needed to type in Tamil. We had this old time computers and we did some letter writing and all that for reporting. It was nice if we had a Tamil hand. So we tried every time you give it to a typesetting, the typewriting institute, you'll get it back. And then there was next to my house, there was a typewriting institute. I said, why don't I just join? I went, I was not serious about it. 3 months I was just attending classes, nothing happened. But till today, I'm still able to type in Tamil. I'm still doing a lot of translation works for many churches, many countries. But what is helping me is the 3 months of typing. And that too was needed for that point of time in ministry. Likewise, I can quote many things that the Lord exposed me to. So that was a very interesting period of time.
Oh, wonderful God we serve.
Exactly. So when I look back now being a pastor, every area of exposure that the Lord gave was so awesome. For example, I used to take photographs, I used to take videography. I even edited, documentaries for the church. And then we wrote, we edited, and then lots of things we did. And then we did meetings for people who are above 60 years. We did meetings for young people. We did meetings for married people, for the young adults, and for the teenagers. You were exposed to so many things. I believe it is the hand of God. And the maturity about ministry, handling people. And also you have this practical issue when you handle people. There is always some kind of politics, and somebody doesn't like you, somebody likes you. All this is there. You were just, God helped me to wade through all that. God encouraged, equipped, and all this happened.
I think by the time you started your own church, you were already a pastor.
Exactly.
You gone through the whole rigmarole.
So exactly. So that's what today I go about teaching about what is calling. So whenever I get a chance to spend with people or pastors or young people, I one of my teaching is, one of the strength of my area of teaching is teaching about what a calling is and how God grooms you into the right calling. So really God groomed me into the right calling, giving all kind of exposure. But all of these things would be in you, but that is not your essential day-to-day ministry need, but it is needed actually.
Yeah.
But God will sharpen that calling so that you'll be shining in that one area which the Lord wants you to. All the others will support you.
When you're a pastor, you need to interact with all sorts of people, all age groups, minister to every age group, and the outreach mission is there. So it's awesome when I listen to you. God has taken you into every department literally.
Exactly.
Exposed you everywhere, trained you everywhere, and even the media is now the main way through which we communicate.
Exactly.
And God has trained you in that also.
All that the Lord slowly took me.
But did you ever think when you were going through all that it was a training ground for you?
At that point in time, no, I didn't know. At that point in time, I never knew. Only after I stepped into full-time ministry, when you look back, that's when you get to know. This is the Lord's doing. He's been marvelous in our lives, slowly.
It's really awesome. So you went through a period of training. For how many years were you actually trained?
Okay, like this, I was there for almost 3.5 years in the role of a missions coordinator. So your knowledge about church and everything just grew and grew. And then after this comes a new kind of a break once again. After this, I moved places, and then I took up a small teaching role in a school. It is called a Spartan Matriculation School, and I joined there as a chaplain.
Oh.
So I would in the chaplain, and I was also music teacher. In the break time, the lunch break and other breaks, I will gather young people and then sit with them. and then we'll read through a portion, we'll have some discussions, and I'll pray for them, I'll encourage to pray. So that way it was a small journey there. And I also taught music, so it was there for some time. And this exactly was only for 3 months.
Okay, so first was about 3 years and then it was 3
This
months.
is 3 months. Now from this 3 months, the other big segment that the Lord transferred me into was into the corporate field. So being a missions coordinator, exposed to all kind of ministry, now I join a school, and then 3 months, and after the 3 months, God gives me an opportunity to move into a big time corporate. I joined the Scope International company as a team leader for a department.
But how did you feel about suddenly moving into the corporate when you knew your calling was to be in the ministry?
So at that point in time, you were still serving the Lord with whatever capacity you can do.
Okay.
Yeah, but somewhere you didn't have the kind of opportunity that you wanted to do. So this comes your way, and it is needed as well for you. A job is needed, money is needed. So without, why not give it a hand? Rightfully, it just opens up. And there, when this is, during this time of 3 years is where God exposed to me not only to your typical, your day-to-day Christian life and your Anglican church type of base and mission work. Not only that, God exposed me also to power ministry. God also exposed me to deliverance ministry.
Okay.
Our pastor was a very, very strong man of faith and man of prayer, and then he encouraged a lot of people to move in the Spirit and speak in tongues and pray and prophesy and deliverance and all that. So along with my pastor and some other pastors, from independent churches, I've been exposed to a lot of deliverance. So that is one big exposure, I should say. Coming from an Anglican background, you never knew anything about this thing, and God gives you. And then it also helps for my own family to be delivered. You know how to pray, what is going on, what is wrong in your family, and you are able to break the family curses. And then it was a learning, it was a blessing to me as well, and God started using me as a blessing to others. So that is when you get to know more about the power ministry. So it is at this point in time I traverse into the corporate field as well. Now that the interesting thing is, as I told you, I grew up till my 6th standard.
So you didn't go as a chaplain in the corporate field?
No, there are interesting stuff.
He made you a chaplain there.
Yeah, that also happened. I'm going to share that. When I grew up, I studied English medium. As I told you, when I moved back with my mother and father, it was very, very rural villages. Or I should say small time towns where no English medium schools. If at all there was English medium school, the name was in English, that's all. Every other thing would be in. So I literally lost touch of my English. I was very scared to speak in English, so everything I lost. So over the years of being in a, though it's English medium school, you don't speak English, or you were part of a government school. My 10th standard, I was in a government school near a place called Medupalayam. I was in government school, +1, +2, I studied again in English medium school. All of these things, and college was in English medium, but no, we never spoke in English medium, it was just colloquial Tamil. All of this, I understood English. I was able to communicate 1 or 2 sentences, just expressing what you wanted to express, but no fluency. But the corporate world definitely wanted fluency. You know what these 3 months did in being a chaplain in the school? It gave me my English back. Even there, it was the hand of God. The correspondent ma'am in the school was, she was so strict. If she sees anybody speaking in Tamil in the school, she will make them kneel down. That goes for, even the teachers, she was very strict to the teachers also. Communication only in English. So you were left with no other option but to speak. Whatever was lost, whatever was hidden, started coming back. When I go, just before I enter into the corporate, with the correspondent ma'am and a few other people, and a lady from England, we were just in a prayer time. And this lady, and she speaks to me and says, I'm seeing you entering into a huge building. It is grey in color. I'm seeing you enter into that building. I don't know what it means, but I know God has some plan for you. After a few, I think within 2 or 3 weeks from that thing happened, I got selected in Scope International, and then the first day I'm about to go and get my what do you call, I'm about to go into induction, get my your ID card and all that stuff. I just move into the parking lot and suddenly I see the whole building is grey in color.
Oh.
I mean, I was so thrilled. I was really thrilled. I knew it was the hand of God. Once you
So
go,
maybe in case you get a doubt, about you moving into the corporate field, maybe God told you earlier,
exactly,
you need to go here.
it was grey in color and exactly the way. And once I moved, my team members were very cool. I mean, we can speak in. But the problem was stakeholders calling from different countries, and you had to speak to them in English, and just English flowed. And then I'm just thinking, and I definitely knew it because I knew this the day I attended the interview. And that day itself, I mean, slowly it just started coming up. And then when I went and gave my resignation in the school and I spoke to the ma'am, and I also told her, she's a very amazing woman of faith. I told her, I believe the 3 months that I was here is for my English, ma'am. This is what the Lord taught me here. And I went back. So this is how, when you're able to look back and analyze how the Lord has been with your life, it's really awesome. So that's what today I go about speaking to everybody that I meet, all young people, whenever I go. I tell them, nothing in your life is an accident. Nothing in your life goes waste. God has an amazing way of utilizing even your pitfalls for the glory of His name. Everything that you've gone through, God has a plan. So, like how David once went before Saul and said, Saul thought David was a kid not capable enough to go and meet Goliath. David had this testimony. I once met a lion, I once met a bear. The Lord rescued me from them. I was able to overpower them. I tell you, that's why everything that you go through is going to be your testimony. Wow. It's going to help you stand and face your enemy square in the eye. It is going to help you walk on the waves, and it will help you walk on the mountain tops, because the way that you are crossed over, it is not because of your own strength, it is because of the strength of God. I realized that. I mean, so I moved into the corporate, so it was again, I believe, the work of the Lord. I moved there.
So more than anything, Pastor, as you were talking now, it is more like a prophetic word that you were telling the viewers, and you're speaking over me, because it's so true. God brings those right kingdom connections at the right time to put you into your destiny, to push you forward. And it's so beautiful that, it's something that you can't fathom, because you don't understand why God takes you, into ministry and then suddenly puts you into the corporate field and then brings you back into ministry. We don't literally comprehend what He does with us, but when we move with His unction, definitely it is a wonderful walk with God.
Amen.
And I know viewers would have enjoyed listening to him and how God was using him in ministry, and suddenly, the whole course changed and He was taking him into the corporate world. And in the next episode, we will be listening to what God did with him in the corporate world and how he came back to become a pastor. I know you would have enjoyed listening to it as I did. God bless you till the next episode.
the